In the sprawling, cacophonous maze of Mexico City, where the tantalizing aroma of sizzling tacos al pastor wafts through the air, mingling with the ever-present hum of bustling traffic, Sofia Mendoza's life was a tapestry of both modesty and quiet strength. At 35, this dark-haired woman with a complexion reminiscent of golden honey had carved out a modest existence for herself amid the urban whirlwind. Each day she navigated the city's vibrant chaos with resilience and grace, working diligently as a waitress in a quaint, unpretentious restaurant. Her life, while simple and defined by routine, was marked by a profound contentment and appreciation for the small joys it offered. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. One sultry summer night, as the sky transitioned from a blazing orange to a tranquil purple, a poignant scene unfolded in the park near her modest apartment. The air was thick with the heady scent of blooming flowers and the distant echo of laughter. Yet amidst this tapestry of life, a heartbreaking sight captured Sofia's attention. On a lonely bench, bathed in the soft glow of the park's dim lights, a small boy no older than 4 was seated, his tiny shoulders shaking with uncontrollable sobs. His cries pierced the evening's serenity, carrying with them a desperate plea for comfort and reassurance. Sofia's heart, already attuned to the subtleties of human suffering, contracted painfully at the sight. Her instincts, honed by years of navigating her struggles and sorrows, compelled her to act. With an urgency fueled by empathy and an innate maternal tenderness, she approached the forlorn child. Every step she took towards him was imbued with a profound sense of purpose, driven by the compassion that had long guided her through the trials of life. As she drew nearer, her thoughts raced, and her emotions swirled in a whirlwind of concern and hope. The night air seemed to hold its breath, the city's relentless noise fading into the background as Sofia knelt beside the boy. Little did she know, this seemingly ordinary act of kindness was about to unravel a story that would forever transform her life. The revelation of the child's true parentage, a revelation that would later unfold with breathtaking clarity, would set off a chain of events that would intertwine her fate with that of the boy's father in ways she could never have anticipated. The unexpected joy and astonishment that followed this discovery would ignite a series of profound realizations and emotional upheavals, forever altering the course of her life and illuminating the extraordinary journey that lay ahead. Bending down to the boy's eye level, Sofia's voice took on a soothing, tender quality as she gently inquired, "Hi there, little guy. Are you all right? Can you tell me where your parents are?" Her words, imbued with warmth and genuine concern, were meant to offer comfort amid the child's distress. The little boy, with eyes as dark as the night sky and brimming with tears, gazed up at her. His gaze held a poignant blend of fear and fragile hope, as if he were searching for a lifeline in the storm of his uncertainty. "I don't know. I can't find them," he managed to choke out through his sobs, his tiny voice trembling with a heartbreaking sense of abandonment. The vulnerability in his words tugged at Sofia's heartstrings, fueling her resolve to help him find solace. Sofia's eyes swept across the park, desperately searching for any sign of an adult who might be responsible for the child. The park, usually a place of laughter and joy, seemed eerily deserted in this moment of crisis. The empty benches and silent pathways added to the sense of isolation that surrounded them. Determined to ease the boy's fear, Sofia continued with a gentle, encouraging tone. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Her question was meant to build trust and provide a sense of stability amid the chaos. "Miguel," the boy responded, his voice punctuated by hiccups and the residual tremors of his earlier tears. His small, quivering form seemed to find a glimmer of reassurance in Sofia's kind demeanor. "All right, Miguel," Sofia said with a reassuring smile that she hoped would convey both strength and safety. "I'm Sofia. How about we team up and look for your parents together?" Her offer was meant to be a beacon of hope in what must have felt like an overwhelmingly dark moment for the little boy. For the next several hours, Sofia and Miguel traversed the park, and its surrounding streets, their quest becoming a shared mission of hope and compassion. They approached every passerby, their pleas for information echoing through the quieting evening. Despite their relentless efforts and the kind-hearted people they encountered, no one seemed to have seen or heard anything about the boy's parents. Each unanswered query seemed to heighten the sense of uncertainty that clung to them, yet Sophia's determination and the boy's fragile trust forged a bond that gave both of them a semblance of comfort in their shared plight. As darkness descended upon the city, an unsettling chill crept into the air, mirroring the growing anxiety that gnawed at Sophia's heart. She could feel the weight of the evening's events pressing down on her, each passing minute amplifying her concern for the vulnerable child resting beside her. "Miguel, sweetheart, I think it's best if we head to the police station," she said softly, her voice laden with both determination and worry. "They'll be able to help us find your parents." Upon arriving at the police station, Sophia's heart ached as she recounted the harrowing details of their night to the officers. She watched as they carefully noted down Miguel's information, their expressions reflecting the gravity of the situation. The officers assured her they would exhaust every effort to locate the boy's family, but as hours ticked by, the growing emptiness of the waiting room echoed the stark reality that no one had come forward to claim little Miguel. The clock inched towards midnight, and the dimly lit station seemed to grow colder as one of the officers approached Sophia with a heavy heart. "Señorita Mendoza," he said, his voice tinged with a note of professional regret. "I'm afraid we'll need to take the boy to a temporary shelter while we continue our search for his family." Sophia glanced down at Miguel, who had drifted into a peaceful slumber on her lap. His innocent, untroubled face, juxtaposed against the severity of the situation, tugged at her soul in a way she couldn't quite articulate. The tender warmth of his tiny body against hers was a stark contrast to the cold reality unfolding around them. A profound, inexplicable connection bound her to this lost child, making her heart ache with an almost maternal affection. Gathering her courage, Sophia looked up at the officer, her voice trembling slightly with a mix of desperation and resolve. "Officer, would it be possible for me to take care of him while they continue to search for his parents?" Her boldness surprised her, driven by a deep-seated desire to offer comfort to Miguel during this unsettling time. The officer regarded her with a skeptical but thoughtful gaze. "Miss, I understand your concern and compassion," he replied, his tone a blend of empathy and adherence to protocol. "However, there are procedures we must follow to ensure the child's safety and well-being." Sophia's heart sank at his words, yet her resolve remained steadfast. She could feel the strong, almost inexplicable bond she had formed with Miguel and was determined to do whatever she could to provide him with the reassurance and care he so desperately needed. "Please," Sophia pleaded with a sense of urgency that came from deep within her. "I have a small but clean apartment, and I can promise you that I will take excellent care of him. I'll provide you with my address and phone number, and I will keep in constant contact with you." Her voice, laced with desperation and genuine concern, carried the weight of her heartfelt plea. She could sense the gravity of the situation and the importance of her request. After a protracted period of deliberation and an overwhelming amount of paperwork, the officers finally relented. With a mix of relief and trepidation, Sophia left the police station with Miguel nestled peacefully in her arms. As she stepped out into the cool night air, she felt a wave of uncertainty, but also a profound sense of rightness. It was as if her heart was whispering that this was the path she was meant to follow, despite not fully understanding where it would lead. Days flowed into weeks, and weeks into months, and throughout this passage of time, the search for Miguel's family yielded no results. The city's bustling rhythm continued unabated, but for Sophia, life had taken on a new, deeply personal significance. What began as a temporary arrangement evolved into something far more profound. The bond between Sophia and Miguel deepened with each passing day, transcending the initial act of compassion. Sofia found herself growing increasingly attached to the boy, whose presence had gradually become a central part of her existence. Miguel, too, seemed to have adapted to his new life with remarkable resilience. The trauma of his past faded into the background as he embraced his new reality with Sofia. The once uncertain child now seemed to find solace and security in the stability Sofia provided, his laughter and bright eyes becoming a testament to the healing power of love and care. A year after that fateful night, Sofia faced a decision that would irrevocably alter the course of her life. With unwavering resolve and a heart full of hope, she embarked on the challenging journey of legally adopting Miguel. The process was fraught with difficulties. As a single mother with modest means, she encountered numerous bureaucratic hurdles and faced societal prejudices that tested her resolve. Yet, through every obstacle and every moment of doubt, Sofia's determination remained unshaken. Her love for Miguel and her commitment to providing him with a stable, loving home drove her forward, fueling her persistence in the face of adversity. One serene night, as the soft glow of a bedside lamp bathed the room in a gentle light, Sofia carefully tucked Miguel into bed. The warmth of the room contrasted with the cool night outside, creating a cocoon of safety and love. Looking into Miguel's earnest eyes, she took a deep breath, her voice tender and filled with a mix of hope and emotion. "Miguel," she began softly, her heart swelling with both anticipation and affection. "Would you like me to be your mommy, your real mommy?" Miguel's eyes, previously filled with the innocence of childhood curiosity, now sparkled with a bright, hopeful light. The idea of having a permanent, loving mother seemed to ignite a deep sense of joy within him. "Really? Forever?" he asked, his voice trembling with excitement and wonder. Sofia, unable to hold back her tears, nodded with a heartfelt smile, her emotions reflecting the gravity of the moment. "Forever, my love," she assured him, her voice choked with emotion. The embrace that followed was more than just a physical gesture. It was a profound and binding promise of unconditional love. In that intimate, heartfelt moment, an unspoken pact was forged between them, one of unwavering devotion and the kind of familial bond that transcends all other connections. As the years passed by, the boy who had once been a lost child evolved into an intelligent and charismatic young man. Sofia's tireless dedication to his well-being was evident in every aspect of his life. She worked relentlessly, taking on extra shifts at the restaurant and performing sewing jobs in the evenings, all to provide Miguel with the best education and opportunities possible. Their modest apartment became a sanctuary of joy and dreams, filled with the sounds of laughter and the warmth of their mutual affection. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the sprawling city, in the opulent surroundings of the Lomas de Chapultepec neighborhood, Alejandro Fuentes prepared for another demanding day at his high-powered office. At 50, Alejandro epitomized success. He was a strikingly handsome figure of wealth and influence, his reputation as one of Mexico's most powerful businessmen firmly established. Yet beneath the polished exterior and the facade of strength lay a heart fractured by loss and longing. His outward success stood in stark contrast to the emotional void he carried within, a silent testament to the complexities of his life. A decade earlier, Alejandro Fuentes had faced an unimaginable tragedy that shattered his world. The private jet carrying his beloved wife and their young son had met with a catastrophic accident high in the mountains. While the wreckage was painstakingly recovered, Alejandro's wife's body was the only one found. His 4-year-old son, a precious fragment of his heart, was never located. Investigators surmised that the boy had been violently ejected from the plane during the impact, likely plunging into a deep, unforgiving ravine. The news left Alejandro with a chasm of grief, an emotional void that no amount of wealth or success could ever fill. In the wake of this profound loss, Alejandro threw himself into his work with a fervor that bordered on obsession. He built a vast business empire that spanned technology, tourism, and beyond, using his professional achievements as a shield against the relentless ache of loneliness. Yet, despite the opulence of his surroundings and the accolades that came with his success, every night as he returned to his grand, empty mansion, he was met with the crushing solitude of his existence and the persistent, gnawing pain of his loss. One crisp spring morning, as Alejandro sifted through the newspapers in his luxurious office, a headline caught his eye. It was an article celebrating a young prodigy who had triumphed in a national math competition. The boy's name, Miguel Mendoza, initially meant nothing to Alejandro. However, the photograph that accompanied the article struck a deep chord within him, evoking a sense of eerie familiarity. The image of the young boy stirred something profound within Alejandro, a flicker of recognition that he couldn't quite place. Driven by a sudden, inexplicable urge, Alejandro delved into researching the boy. What he uncovered was a story that seemed to intertwine fate and destiny uncannily. Miguel Mendoza was a gifted 14-year-old student raised by a single mother named Sofia Mendoza. The narrative of how Sofia had discovered Miguel in a park a decade earlier, the same time Alejandro's world had been irrevocably altered, compelled him to explore further. The parallels between their lives began to form a hauntingly beautiful tapestry, one that suggested that the echoes of Alejandro's past might be resonating in ways he had never imagined. Alejandro's heart raced as he absorbed the startling details. The dates lined up with the tragic disappearance of his son. The possibility, though faint, ignited a fervor within him. Could this brilliant young man truly be the child he had lost so many years ago? Driven by an overwhelming need for answers, Alejandro engaged a private investigator to scrutinize the situation. For weeks, the investigator meticulously pieced together Miguel's and Sofia's lives, reconstructing the events of that fateful night with painstaking detail, hoping to uncover any connection that might confirm or refute Alejandro's fears. As Alejandro embarked on this quest for truth, life continued unabated for Sofia and Miguel. Unaware of the impending upheaval, they focused on their own aspirations and daily routines. Miguel, now a remarkable 14-year-old prodigy, was on the cusp of starting college with a prestigious scholarship. His academic achievements were a testament to the nurturing environment Sofia had provided. Meanwhile, Sofia had realized one of her long-held dreams by opening a charming little cafe. It was a modest but fulfilling endeavor that symbolized her resilience and determination. One quiet afternoon, as the cafe buzzed gently with the sounds of brewing coffee and the murmur of contented patrons, Miguel was busy helping his mother behind the counter. The comforting aroma of freshly baked pastries filled the air, mingling with the warmth of the cafe's cozy ambience. The doorbell chimed softly, announcing the arrival of a new customer. Sofia looked up with a welcoming smile, but her expression shifted to one of polite curiosity as an elegantly dressed man entered the cafe. Alejandro's commanding presence and refined demeanor immediately set him apart from the usual patrons. His eyes, shadowed with a mix of anticipation and apprehension, swept over the establishment, settling on Miguel with a piercing gaze that seemed to carry the weight of a lifetime of unspoken emotions. Miguel, sensing the gravity of the stranger's presence, looked up from his work, his curiosity piqued. Alejandro approached the counter, his heart pounding with a mixture of hope and trepidation. He had come to see for himself the young man who might be the missing piece of his shattered past, hoping against hope that this encounter would bring clarity to the tumultuous storm of his heart. "Good afternoon," Alejandro greeted with a calm yet deliberate manner as he took a seat at a table near the bar. His voice carried a hint of formality, yet there was a palpable undercurrent of emotional tension. Sofia, ever the gracious hostess, approached with her characteristic warmth. "Good afternoon, sir. What can I get you today?" she asked, her smile as inviting as ever. Alejandro ordered a coffee, his gaze lingering intently on Miguel, who was busy tidying up tables at the back of the cafe. As he watched the boy's movements, his easy grace, the way his eyes lit up with every smile, Alejandro felt a pang of heartache. There was something in the way Miguel moved, something profoundly reminiscent of his late wife, that stirred deep, unresolved emotions within him. The days turned into weeks, and Alejandro's visits to the cafe became a routine. Each day he ordered the same coffee and always chose the same table, strategically positioned to give him an unobstructed view of Miguel and Sofia. His presence was marked by a subtle yet consistent pattern, a calculated approach to observing the young man who might be his son. As he settled into his role as a regular customer, Alejandro began to engage Sofia and Miguel in casual conversation. He inquired about their lives with genuine interest, carefully masking the deeper motives behind his questions. His interactions, though friendly and polite, were imbued with an underlying intensity that belied his outward calm. Through these conversations, he slowly built a rapport, earning their trust and gradually becoming a familiar and welcomed part of their daily routine. His observations were meticulous as he continued to piece together the puzzle of Miguel's life. Each interaction, each detail he learned, served to either confirm or challenge the growing suspicion that Miguel might indeed be the child he had lost. Alejandro's heart was caught in a relentless tug-of-war between hope and apprehension as he navigated the delicate balance between his role as a concerned patron and the deeper emotional currents that guided his every action. One evening, as the final light of the cafe dimmed and the last of the customers had departed, Sofia began her routine of locking up. The rhythmic sound of the lock clicking into place was abruptly interrupted by a figure waiting outside in the soft, twilight gloom. Her heart skipped a beat as she recognized Alejandro standing there, his tall silhouette framed against the waning light. "Sofia," he greeted her, his voice carrying a gravity that immediately set her on edge. "What are you doing here so late?" she asked, a mixture of surprise and curiosity in her voice. Alejandro's gaze was intense, his eyes reflecting a storm of emotions. "Sofia," he began, his voice steady but filled with a palpable urgency. "There's something I need to tell you. Something important about Miguel." The words hung in the air, electric and charged with an unsettling tension. Sofia's heart pounded in her chest as Alejandro proceeded to recount a tragic tale that seemed almost too surreal to believe. He spoke of a devastating plane crash that had claimed the lives of his wife and, most tragically, his young son who had never been found. Alejandro's voice, though controlled, trembled slightly as he conveyed his belief that Miguel might be the very boy he had lost so many years ago. As Alejandro's story unfolded, Sofia felt as though the ground beneath her was giving way. The news was a thunderclap of devastation, shattering the fragile peace she had come to cherish. The very child she had nurtured, loved, and raised for a decade was suddenly cast into the stormy seas of uncertainty. "No, it can't be," Sofia murmured, her voice breaking as tears began to stream down her face. The profound anguish in her eyes mirrored the tumultuous emotions crashing through her heart. "Miguel is my son. I raised him. I loved him." Her words, though spoken with fierce conviction, were tinged with a desperation that spoke of the overwhelming love and fear she felt at that moment. The night air was thick with the weight of their shared pain, as the revelation hung between them, casting a shadow over the future and threatening to unravel the deeply woven bond that had defined their lives for so long. Moved by Sofia's palpable distress, Alejandro reached out and gently took her hands in his. The touch was tender yet filled with a profound sincerity. "I understand, Sofia," he said softly, his voice trembling with empathy. "And I am forever grateful to you for the love and care you've given him all these years. But for Miguel's sake, we need to uncover the truth." In the days that followed, life for Sofia, Alejandro, and Miguel became a whirlwind of intense emotions and upheaval. The air was thick with anticipation and fear as they navigated a complex labyrinth of medical tests and emotional turmoil. DNA samples were collected and sent for analysis, medical records were scrutinized, and countless conversations were held with Miguel, who grappled with a tumultuous storm of confusion and anxiety over the startling possibility that his entire existence could be a facade. The process was arduous, fraught with tension and heartache. Each step felt like an excruciatingly slow journey through a stormy sea of uncertainty. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the results arrived, and the truth was laid bare. Miguel was indeed the biological son of Alejandro Fuentes. For Sofia, the revelation was a crushing blow. The world she had built around Miguel, filled with love, sacrifice, and countless shared moments, seemed to disintegrate before her eyes. The knowledge that Miguel was not merely her child by choice but by blood, and that he was now connected to a past she could never fully understand, left her feeling as though she was losing a part of herself. Miguel, caught in the heart of this emotional maelstrom, was torn between two worlds. On one hand, there was the deep, unbreakable bond he shared with Sofia, the woman who had been his rock and his guiding light. On the other hand, there was an innate curiosity about his biological origins, his father's identity, and the family history that had remained a mystery for so long. The struggle between his love for the mother who had raised him and his desire to connect with his biological father created a profound inner conflict, leaving him adrift in a sea of mixed emotions. The impact of this revelation rippled through their lives, creating a storm of uncertainty and heartache. As each individual grappled with their new reality, the future seemed both full of potential and marred by the pain of the past, forcing them to confront questions of identity, love, and family that none of them had anticipated. Fully aware of the profound emotional upheaval he had caused, Alejandro made a choice that defied expectations. Instead of pursuing a contentious battle for sole custody of Miguel, he took a step back and proposed a solution that he hoped would benefit everyone involved. One afternoon, as the three of them gathered in the modest living room of Sofia's small apartment, Alejandro's demeanor was one of careful consideration and empathy. He took a deep breath and addressed both Sofia and Miguel with a voice that carried the weight of his thoughtful decision. "Sofia," he began, his tone earnest and measured, "I understand that this situation is incredibly challenging for all of us. But after much reflection, I believe there's a way we can navigate this storm together and come out stronger." Sofia and Miguel exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Alejandro continued, his eyes meeting theirs with a mixture of resolve and tenderness. "Miguel is indeed my biological son," Alejandro said, "but you, Sofia, are his mother in every sense that truly matters. I don't want to sever the bond you've built with him. Instead, I'd like to propose an alternative that preserves the relationship you both share and offers a new path forward." Alejandro's proposal was unexpected, and the air in the room seemed to crackle with the tension of the moment. "I would like for you both to move in with me," he said. "You can continue to be his mother, and I will provide financial support and be actively involved in his life. This way, Miguel will have the chance to learn about his heritage and connect with his biological family, but he will always have you by his side." The proposal was met with stunned silence. It was a gesture that promised to preserve the bond between mother and son while integrating Alejandro into their lives in a way that was both respectful and considerate of the deep emotional connections involved. Sofia and Miguel took some time to reflect on Alejandro's offer, weighing the emotional complexities and practical implications. The idea of moving into a mansion with Alejandro, a man who was both a stranger and a potential father figure, was daunting but also offered a chance for a new beginning. In the end, they decided to accept Alejandro's offer. The transition was not without its challenges, but it marked the beginning of a new chapter. Sofia and Miguel moved into Alejandro's grand mansion, and they worked together to forge a new family dynamic. This arrangement allowed Sofia to remain a central, loving presence in Miguel's life, while also embracing the opportunity to build a connection with Alejandro. As they settled into their new home, the family began to navigate their evolving relationships and build a future that honored both the past and the present. Alejandro, Sofia, and Miguel embarked on this journey with hope and a shared commitment to creating a harmonious and loving environment that would encompass all the facets of their intertwined lives. As the years unfolded, Miguel blossomed into a well-rounded young man, embracing his unique dual heritage with grace and wisdom. His life was a testament to the healing power of love and the transformative nature of family. Miguel had the rare and cherished experience of knowing both his adoptive mother, Sofia, and his biological father, Alejandro. Each of them played an integral role in shaping his identity and nurturing his growth. The pain of his tumultuous past gradually softened, replaced by a profound understanding of what it meant to belong to two worlds. Miguel navigated his relationships with both Sofia and Alejandro with a deep sense of appreciation, forging strong, meaningful connections that transcended the initial complexities of his story. Sofia continued to infuse her cafe with the same unwavering dedication and boundless passion that had defined her from the start. Her cafe became more than just a place of business. It was a symbol of her enduring spirit and commitment to creating a space filled with warmth and community. Each cup of coffee served and every smile exchanged was a reflection of her resilience and love. Alejandro, too, found a new purpose in his life. As he continued to expand his business empire, his achievements were now intertwined with a renewed sense of meaning. His relationship with Miguel and Sofia brought a richness to his life that went beyond financial success. It was a reminder of the invaluable treasures that lay in human connections and the bonds formed through shared experiences. Together, Sofia and Alejandro created a family dynamic built on mutual respect, unconditional love, and heartfelt gratitude. Their relationship evolved into one of profound collaboration and support, nurturing an environment where Miguel could thrive and feel a sense of belonging. The story of the boy who had once been lost in a park became a powerful narrative of transformation and unity. From the uncertainty of his early years, Miguel's journey led him to a place where he was embraced by both the family he had known and the family he had discovered. His path from a lonely child to a cherished member of a new, blended family highlighted the remarkable ability of love to bridge gaps, mend hearts, and forge unbreakable bonds. In the end, Miguel's life was a testament to the extraordinary ways in which love and family can evolve, demonstrating that even in the most unexpected of circumstances, profound connections and a sense of belonging can be found. As we reach the end of this remarkable journey, we reflect on a story that truly embodies the power of love, resilience, and the transformative nature of family. Miguel's journey from a lost child to a beloved member of two families is a testament to how deep connections and understanding can bridge even the widest gaps. What have you learned from this touching narrative? How has it inspired you to reflect on your relationships and the impact of love in your life? We would love to hear from you. Please share in the comments below one key takeaway from this story that you plan to apply in your own life. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to leave your comment, give us a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. And of course, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an inspiring story or insightful message. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon.